Good afternoon, kings and queens of the land. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, sons of the soil. Good afternoon to all the liberated zones of Africa. Good afternoon to Burkina Faso. Under the leadership of President Ibrahim Traore. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to Niger, under the leadership of President Abdurrahman Tian. Good afternoon, Niger. Good afternoon to Mali, under the leadership of President Asim Goita. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, KZN, under the leadership of President Geleshigisa Jacob Zuma, under the leadership of the MK Party. Good afternoon, KZN. My name is Mngoni Mkonto. This is the naked. This is the royal opinion. You are in the royal opinion. Today we are talking about what's coming up, what is expected to come up in 2025 for President Zuma and the MK Party. In Burkina Faso, if maybe one may first talk about what is happening, let me just touch on what is happening outside South Africa. In Burkina Faso, President Ibrahim Traore has come up with new laws to govern the country's gold resources or mineral resources. The gold, especially the gold resources. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, the royals, the most trusted, the royals. Queen Cynthia Malope, good afternoon. Good afternoon, King Victor Shongwe. Good afternoon, President. Everybody who is present, please register your name there. Let me know who is present today to this session. Today we're talking about what we can expect next year. Basically predictions. You know, my predictions are always right because I know what is happening. When you know what is happening, you just know what is happening. So we know what's coming up. Good afternoon. We hope you enjoying your good holidays. Nkosana Fulani, one of our passionate followers. Good afternoon to the royal family. I welcome myself to the royal opinion, where we get the best analysis, better than those mainstream media propagandist analysts. Hashtag second student in the class. Thank you very much. Mr. Shong was saying, King Shong was saying, discovery of liquid petroleum gas causing war in Mozambique. We're going to talk about Mozambique today. Liquid gas in Mozambique creating the war. Liquid gas, like any other minerals in Africa, creating wars in Africa. Our blessings that comes from God and our ancestors that we've inherited from our ancestors, becoming a curse to Africa, becoming wars instead of what is supposed to be, which is an economic blessing for all Africans. Ibrahim Traore President Ibrahim, Captain Ibrahim Traore, seeking to change all of that, recently signed a law which says all minerals must, all miners, all people who are mining in Burkina Faso, or all companies who are mining in Burkina Faso should beneficiate in Burkina Faso, in the borders of Burkina Faso. When we talk about beneficiating, it's about the refiner of those minerals, the refiner of the gold. When they mine the gold, um, they have to uh, process the gold inside Burkina Faso. You know, it's a new law in Burkina Faso, and he also has opened a tomato processing factory, two tomato processing factories. This is a big deal, and it's a serious issue because this will cause Africa to be able to sustain. This will cause Burkina Faso to sustain itself, but it will cause mayhem in the European countries because now the cost of living is already high in Europe. Burkina Faso, what will happen when the companies which are beneficiating in Europe because they are shipping these things, Mozambique, South Africa is more affected by Mozambique. South African business, I mean, not necessarily South African business, but international mafias, the ones who are mining the gold and taking it out of the country, out of South Africa, are affected by what is happening in Mozambique because they are using uh, the Mozambique port to ship their minerals which they steal from Limpopo and Pumalanga. The Mozambique port is the closest because you can't send it to Durban. The white people don't have borders among themselves. They don't have borders in Africa. The borders for them is open. They are able to transport their minerals. So Ibrahim Traore causing havoc in European countries. White people knows President Zuma, if he comes in next year, is going to when if he comes in as the president of the of South Africa for the second time, is going to cause similar havoc. Is going to cause a closure of European firms which are beneficiating or processing the minerals which they are stealing from Africa. There's a perpetual war in Congo sponsored by American businesses. The cobalt, which is getting mined from America to feed the technology, the phones that we are using, is the cause of the perpetual wars in the DR Congo. Now, if we take over the resources and take over the processing of the resources, or the beneficiation of the resources, then we causing havoc in Europe. So predictions which are based on analysis, on proper analysis of the circumstances. Today we're going to hear predictions which are based on a critical analysis or serious analysis. Mr. X Maetu says, you really speak the truth, Bafana. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Maetu. Maetu. If I'm pronouncing you well, give me a thumbs up if I'm pronouncing you well. X Maetu. Tell me if I'm pronouncing it well. Thank you very much. So Uh, President Zuma will not be allowed. Uh, President Zuma is said to owe about 28 million in legal fees. He owes about 28 million in legal fees, but he did not commit any crime. He has never committed any crime. He's been in and out of court, being uh, uh, found, given cost, handed over cost in most of the courts of his courts appearances. He's been dragged in and out of the court. I'll share one of the most famous judgment which happened in 2021 when President Zuma was arrested, which happened in earlier years, which led to President Zuma getting arrested and taken to jail at the end of the day. So, President Zuma and the MK party will not be given a chance to survive to see 2025 in peace. That should be well known and be expected, because this is what is supposed to be coming to the to the American economy. If we take over our minerals, if we take over our gold, the companies which are benefiting from shipping the minerals to America and Europe, which are employing people that side, will have to close that site and reopen their, if they want to continue processing, reopen their factories in South Africa, and sharing the wealth which they are getting from the land. The white people does not like sharing. They will not allow that to happen. Let's talk about Mozambique. Very long introduction there. Let's talk about Mozambique. In Mozambique, war is happening. Election have happened in the past 2 months, if I'm not mistaken. Um, Most of what is happening in Mozambique were not aware in South Africa. Mozambique is just behind us. It's in our back door. When you are in Bushbuck Ridge, basically Mozambique is just in your backyard. It's just behind the Kruger National Gate fence. Along the Kruger National Gate until Palabora, Giani, Malamlele, all of those areas who are bordering with Mozambique. It's just behind us or in front of us, because they come from the east. Everything, when the colonizers came to Africa, when the white people came to Africa, one thing that they did very well and perfectly is divide and rule. What they did, they separated black people, they separated families, and made the other people to speak Portuguese and the other people on the other side of the fence to speak English, so that whatever is happening with the other person, you cannot hear, you cannot share your experiences. So this is what is happening in Mozambique. Elections, Frelimo, which is the Liberation Party in Mozambique, Frelimo has robbed elections in Mozambique, just like what they did in South Africa. They have robbed elections. Uh, uh, they've given Frelimo 70, I think it was 70%, 75% or something of the vote. But the people did not vote for Frelimo. The president of Frelimo, Daniel Chapo, people in Mozambique does not like him. Young people in Mozambique is mainly populated by young people. Young people in Mozambique, they don't like Daniel Chapo. They don't understand how did Daniel Chapo won. So they went on all out to fight against the government, to fight against, but the actual fight is about the instability there. The actual fight is caused by the companies, the white people in Mozambique. This is what they have been doing to sustain to keep on stealing the resources of Africa. When they say there's a UN peacekeeping mission, when they create first, they create terror groups uh, in areas where they discover minerals. This is how they work. When they discover minerals and they find the people are resistant to them mining, they create a terror group in that area. They will link it to Al Qaeda and all those things. But the Americans and the Europeans, they do that. They create the terror groups. They sponsor their terror groups with arms, uh, so that they can attack the citizens, to displace the citizens from the area where they want to mine the resources. If they find resistance, that is the strategy that they adopt to avoid issues of paying for to avoid issues for paying for relocations of people, or other people refusing to live, or having to share profits with the communities, because other communities will not allow themselves um to go to be bulldozed by white people. They will refuse. So to avoid such things, they create conflicts. They give other people, they sponsor other people with guns, and these people will appear in the community and terrorize others, do all these evil deeds. And then they will send peacekeeping missions. South Africa is in Mozambique now. South African soldiers are in Mozambique. Uh, Rwandan soldiers are in Mozambique. These are the trusted countries of the colonial under the British colony. The trusted countries, those countries which still have the top sellout individuals like President Ramaphosa and President Ruto in Kenya. The British would just select any army to go and fight or protect the people, the companies which are looting the resources in those countries. If needs be, they commit genocide like they're doing in Mozambique now. The Mozambican police uh, are not so aggressive against their people. The Mozambican police, most of them are seen looting, just like what is happening most of the time in South Africa. They are looting with they are seen protesting. The police in Mozambique are seen in videos protesting as well. But the cruel soldiers who comes from South Africa and Rwanda, who were sent there on a mission to kill, those are the people who are committing genocide as we speak now. The Mozambicans are being killed live, using live bullets. Live bullets are Ex Mahetsu says, let them try and arrest Zuma. Africa will ban. Um, that is what is coming. That is what is coming in South Africa. They will not allow MK party to have. They will not allow MK party and President Zuma to come back to the union building peacefully. That will not be allowed. I said before that black people will not win, uh, will not be able to take over the land through votes. I said it before the elections. I said black people, it's impossible for black people to take over the land through votes. Being impossible to take over the land through votes, the white man is well armed. The white man has got the resources of war. The soldiers that are available in every country are the resources of the colonizers. The work of the soldiers is to protect the property of the colonizer in every country. That's what they do. Protect the interest of big business and the colonizers. So when they come out cruel. So now that's what is going to happen in South Africa. President Zuma have tried to avoid the issue of black people going into the street because he knows exactly the template. He knows exactly what is going to happen. He knows the army of white people is waiting for that day where black people are said to be protesting, and they will come and alienate everybody. They will come and kill a lot of black people, and like what they are doing in Mozambique at the moment, they are still implementing their will in Mozambique. President Daniel Chapo is still being inaugurated. The court has found that they have robbed election, but by 6%. So they have reduced the if you find in so few days, if you are able to find that they have robbed by 6%, 6% is a very significant percentage. 6% of the vote is a very significant percentage because we're talking about millions of people. So if you are able to find within 10 days, if you are able to find that these people have robbed election by 10, by about 6% within 10 days, what more can you find if you give yourself time to really inquest about what happened in the election? Joined by Richard Mia as well. Good afternoon, my hero, Lem Richard from Betal in Pumalanga. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Richard, for joining. Richard Mia in Pumalanga. Pumalanga in Delmas. Delmas has got a very is Delmas host the most expensive mineral on planet Earth. Pumalanga host the very most expensive mineral on planet Earth called iridium. It is said it is sold at $45 million per ton of material. People don't know in Pumalanga they have such things. It's an extraterrestrial substance. We need to talk about this again and again. Is an extraterrestrial substance which material does not belong to planet Earth. It belongs to other planets outside planet Earth. It is only found in South Africa and also in Haiti. Those are the only countries which have received this, which are said to have teleported this. about 65 million years ago. The teleportation happens about 65 million years ago. The deposit of that material in Delmas. But we're not talking about that today. We're talking about our predictions. But before we go on and predict exactly what's going to happen in 2024, let me share where we come from so that you understand. We understand where we are. Let me share where we come from. We come from South African courts, which have previously clearly explained that President Zuma is not an accused person, but President Zuma as well cannot be found guilty of any wrongdoing, but they are going to declare him guilty and take him to prison. Something unprecedented, something that has never happened to any person in this planet. Taken to jail, kidnapped to jail without trial, without being accused, without trial, given an opportunity to appeal the declaration which was made by the Constitutional Court, without being given an opportunity to hear of his story. He was just declared guilty and abducted. That's the word I want to use. Abducted to prison by the authorities. Let me share here what
Zuma's rights. Consequently, there is simply no sound, no logical basis on which Mr. Zuma can claim to have been treated unfairly or victimized. His attempts to evoke public sympathy through unfounded allegations fly in the face of reason and are an insult to the constitutional dispensation for which so many women and men fought and lost their lives. Having found that Mr. Zuma, like all alleged contemners in civil contempt proceedings, cannot be described as an accused person as envisaged in Section 35, and confident
he cannot be accused, he cannot be referred to as an accused person. Please note that he is not accused of anything. He's not. The judge is saying President Zuma cannot be referred to as an accused, meaning he is not accused of anything. Anyone who is referred to as an accused, it means he is accused of doing something.
that a fair procedure has been followed to safeguard the rights to which Mr. Zuma was entitled in these proceedings, the majority holds that no Section 36 limitations analysis arises in the circumstances. The majority finds itself faced with little choice but to send a resounding message that this kind of recalcitrance and defiance is unlawful and will be punished. After all, having no constitution,
They want to show, they are saying, the court is saying they want to show that his kind of behavior is going to be it's unaccepted and it will be punished. Not that he did anything wrong, but the behavior, how he behaves, is not accepted.
no purse and no sword, the judiciary must rely on moral authority to fulfill its functions. On this basis, an unsuspended order of committal is the only appropriate sanction. Mindful of the novelty of this conclusion, I repeat that this case is exceptional. It is exceptional, not in the sense that Mr. Zuma is being treated exceptionally, but because there are certain exceptional features of this factual matrix that justify the imposition of an exceptional sanctions. These factors include, firstly, the nature and intensity of Mr. Zuma's attacks on the judiciary, and secondly, the relevance of his position as the former President of the Republic. It goes without saying that the importance of public confidence in the judiciary cannot be overstated. This is not to say that the judiciary is a unique branch of state that must be sheltered from the public and its criticisms. The Constitutional Court has itself accepted the benefit of robust and informed public debate about judicial affairs, and the judiciary is in no way exempt from the accountability it owes to the society that it serves. However, this does not mean that scurrilous and unfounded attacks on the judiciary and its members can be met with impunity. Protecting cause from slanderous public statements has little to do with protecting the feelings and reputation of judges, and everything to do with preserving their ability and power.
So she's clearly saying that this judgment is because they want to protect the reputation of the court. It's not because President Zuma is guilty of anything. It's not because they are accusing him of anything. They only want to protect the integrity of the court because President Zuma has been criticizing the judiciary and has been exposing the judiciary of what the bias that exists in the judiciary. Please click the like button and subscribe if you like what we're talking about. If you like the English as well, click the like button and subscribe. If you like the hair as well, click the like button and subscribe. My name is Mngoni Mkonto, and this is the Royal Opinion. So here, Judge Masipa is saying uh, they want to protect the integrity, or they want to protect uh, the uh, public image of the judiciary by punishing President Zuma, who has come out to criticize the judiciary for not being fair, for not ruling in accordance with law, for being biased. So they only want to protect the court against such kind of criticism, not because President Zuma is guilty of anything. Let's listen to the judge explain.
To perform their constitutional duties. His statements disclose no cogent, genuine, or factually supported critiques of the Constitutional Court or any of the other institutions and individuals whose integrity he so casually denounces. His statements do not fall into the category of criticisms accepted as tolerable in our constitutional dispensation.
The criticism that President Zuma is raising against the Constitutional Court is not accepted. They've got certain line of criticism which can be allowed. You can only be allowed to criticize us if you say this. But if you say something else outside what we want, we're going to give an example. We're going to give an example with you that we cannot be criticized in that way. That's what the judge is saying. Not that you are guilty, but you are criticizing us too much. That's where we come from.
Not only are his statements intolerable, but the majority considers itself enjoined to take them into when consideration would be up. Because contempt is not the act of non-compliance with a court order alone, but encompasses the nature of that contempt, the extent of it, and the surrounding circumstances. Thus, it would be with naivety and a great deal of dissonance to view the material act of non-compliance with the order in CCT 295/20 in isolation of Mr. Zuma's outlandish statements, which are themselves part and parcel of his contemptuous conduct, because they are the calico that cloth it. The majority judgment finds that it must take cognizance of the unique and scandalous features of this particular contempt. To do so is not to conflate this instance of civil contempt with the crime of scandalizing the court, as the minority judgment implies. The majority is fervently of the view that if we were to ignore those aspects, we would be adjudicating the matter with one eye closed and declining to decide it without fear, as we are constitutionally mandated to do. The majority holds that the cause for concern does not stop there. Mr. Zuma is no ordinary litigant. He is the former President of the Republic of South Africa, who continues to wield significant political influence and in whom lies a great deal of power.
They say President Zuma is not that equal to the other people. When we come to court, when we come to the constitutional court, when we come to the court rights, President Zuma cannot be allowed to be equal to the other people. Let's give him a different status. When they want to arrest him, they say everybody is equal before the law. But now, when they give the judgment, they say President Zuma cannot be treated as any other South African. This one has to be treated special. Let's hear how special is this case.
His actions and any consequences or lack thereof are being closely observed by the public. So if his conduct is met with impunity, he will do significant damage to the rule of law. The unique political position that Mr. Zuma enjoys as the former president constitute a further exceptional feature of this matter that justifies a punitive sanction. No person enjoys exclusion or exemption from the sovereignty of the laws of the Republic, and Mr. Zuma is no exception. And indeed, it would be antithetical to the value of accountability if those who once held high office are not bound by the law. In fact, the Constitutional Court has in the past espoused the existence of a heightened obligation on the President by virtue of her or his position to conduct her or himself in a manner that accords with the Constitution. For there are a few office bearers of greater constitutional importance than that of the President. Although Mr. Zuma is no longer President, his conduct flies in the face of the obligation he bore as President. And it is also not insignificant that Mr. Zuma's contemptuous conducts relate to his duty to account for the time that he was in office. So is accordingly inextricably linked to his constitutional obligations as a public office bearer. The Constitutional Court holds that it is disturbing that he, who twice swore allegiance to the Republic, its laws and the Constitution, has sought to ignore, undermine, and in many ways destroy the rule of law altogether. In taking stock of the cumulative effect of these exceptional circumstances,
Remember, is all these ways are being bombarded. All these ways are being bombarded on about President Zuma. He is not guilty of anything. He is still not accused of anything. But because of something that he said, all of these words had to be put together as part of the judgment in order to justify why President Zuma should go to jail without doing anything.
The majority finds that it must grant an order that will vindicate the court's order and protect and maintain public confidence in the legitimacy of the judiciary. Accordingly, the only appropriate sanction is a direct unsuspended order of imprisonment, because the alternative would be to effectively sentence the legitimacy of the judiciary to inevitable decay. In determining the appropriate length of sentence, the majority judgment considered the applicant's proposal of 2 years, the rationale for which is rooted in the sentences prescribed for offences under the Commission's Acts and its regulation. Unfortunately, this rationale is inappropriate because the crime for which punishment is being meted out.
So what happened? Zondo is who was the constitutional what we call the Chief Justice of South Africa, who was the the chairperson of the commission, of the Zondo Commission, uh, wrote a letter to the Constitutional Court. By then, he was the Deputy Chief Justice. He wrote a letter to ask them to put President Zuma in jail for 2 years because President Zuma acted in contempt of him. He just said, because one teller, because young telela uzuma ngicela nimfake ejele for 2 years. So they are considered the 2 years and only reduce it by some few months to come to 15 months. Because that 15 months is not a legal sentence. It's not even a legal sentence. It's illegal. First thing, the sentence, there's no crime committed. There's no person who is accused. The sentence is illegal. The sentence that they are giving does not exist. It's not guided by anything. It comes from their heads. They just come and give a sentence from their heads without referring to law, because they say this is a special circumstance. We need to change, to divert. If you are found guilty of contempt of law or of contempt of court, you will be punished with what we call a fine. You will only be given a fine, and there will be no jail sentence for anybody who's got a contempt judgment against them. There's no jail sentence. But for President Zuma, they had to change that and put a jail sentence. They had to design circumstances, everything, in order to put President Zuma in jail. This is before the formation of the MK party. Now that we've got the MK party, what will happen to President Zuma in 2025? Would they like to kill him? Yes, they want to kill President Zuma. Will they kill him if they find any opportunity? They will. At any given opportunity, they will eliminate President Zuma. Is he safe? Nobody knows. He may be safe, he may not be safe.
Out is not a contravention of the Commissions Act, but rather a contravention of a court order, and in turn the crime of contempt of court. Having rejected the applicant's rationale, however, the majority concludes that quantifying Mr. Zuma's egregious conduct to arrive at an appropriate length of sentence is almost impossible task. The question is, What length of punishment is capable of vindicating the authority of South Africa's apex court and the rule of law, while sending a message generally that orders made by a court must be obeyed, and to Mr. Zuma specifically, that his contempt and contumacy is rebukable in the strongest sense. In determining the length of sentence, the majority has considered the unique circumstances of this matter, the nature of the breach, and the extent to which the breach is ongoing. Not only has Mr. Zuma failed to dispute the contempt of court, he has also failed to contest the degree of the contempt. Instead, he has aggravated it. The majority judgment orders an unsuspended sentence of imprisonment for a period of 15 months. This, of course, cannot adequately capture the damage that Mr. Zuma has done to the dignity and integrity of the judicial system. And ultimately, he owes this sentence not only in respect of violating the Constitutional Court, but to the nation he once promised to lead and to the Constitution he once vowed to uphold. The applicant sought costs on a punitive scale. It is tried that punitive costs are exceptional and are reserved for instances where a litigant has conducted themselves in a clear and indubitably vexatious and reprehensible manner deserving of extreme opprobrium. The applicant submitted that punitive costs are warranted because Mr. Zuma's conduct smacks of malice and his public accusations are utterly bereft of supporting facts. These submissions are persuasive. This case does not merely concern an apathetic respondent. It concerns a respondent who breached an order of the Constitutional Court, chose not to explain why, and elected instead to make provocative, unmeritorious.
Okay. Let me remove that one from the screen. Let me remove that one from the screen. I've made the point that I wanted to make. The point that I wanted to make is this is where we come from. President Zuma has not been accused of anything. The judge says this cannot be, we cannot refer to him as an accused. Secondly, there's no sentence for in the law for people who criticize the judiciary. But now we're going to sentence this one just for criticizing the judiciary and to set an example that his behavior or his kind of criticism to the judiciary is not accepted. We want people who are going to obey, not people who are going to just criticize, not people who are going to criticize the judiciary in a way that we don't anticipate. So President Zuma was declared. If I say he was declared, that's what the court said. They've declared President Zuma guilty of contempt of law. He's not found guilty because finding guilty means the process of investigating. So there was no investigation conducted to find out whether President Zuma was guilty of contempt. He was declared guilty of contempt without investigating. Because if they had investigated, it would give them trouble. It would give them trouble. They may find that he's not guilty. So they had to find him guilty in order to prevent him from standing for elections. Because the intelligence were aware that President Zuma is going to start a political organization. So they were preparing for the elections. Can President Zuma be arrested this coming, what is going to happen to President Zuma in 2024? President Zuma will face massive challenges. President Zuma and the MK party will face massive amount of challenges. MK party may even be deregistered as a political party in South Africa. White people will push the black people in South Africa to the blink, to the extent that uh, they must go to the street. President Zuma will try to be patient in order to for the court case of the electoral commission, the elections which were robbed by the IEC. The President Zuma, having the proof, said he had the proof. He's got all the receipts of how the elections were robbed. This case will not be allowed to go to court peacefully. Violence in one way or another will be instigated. Next year, we will see a lot of violence. This 2025, we're going to see a lot of violence in South Africa. The MK party will not be the ones instigating violence. President Zuma will not be the one instigating violence. The white intelligence are going to instigate violence against black people because they will not want to face the 2026 elections. MK party is going to take over South Africa. They will not want the people to be clarified, the people to receive clarity on the information about the robbing of the elections. They will want to cause chaos, to confuse people. One of our royals there just coming in, uh, actually late, very late, because we are almost close to the end of our session. But today we are talking about Mozambique and um, the what is going to happen in South Africa, the predictions of what's going to happen in South Africa and what is going to happen to President Zuma in 2025 and the MK party. People like is going to see we are going to see even people like Julius Malema taking President Zuma to courts for one thing or another. We're going to see other people that we may not think that they will turn against President Zuma, turning against President Zuma. We're going to see a lot of infiltration in the MK party to destabilize the mission of the MK party. We're going to see even attempts at President Zuma's life if they can reach him. They are not going to leave him alone. They're going to attempt to eliminate him because he's very key. So all of their trusted armies are going to be unleashed against President Zuma. All of their trusted people, all of their trusted strategists are going to be unleashed against the MK party and President Zuma. Black people will be pushed to blink. Black people will be pushed to the edge. They want black people to go to the streets so that they can send the soldiers to go and kill people like they did in 2021, and nothing will happen. Few people will get arrested, and the people who are going to get arrested are uh, from the MK party. President Zuma may be accused of incitement in 2025. The white people and the white system are going to plant a revolution. On the other hand, they are going to push black people to get agitated as early as possible in order to disturb the mission of the MK party, to create chaos so that black people are not able to focus. The MK party will not be able to focus. The reason you have people like Jabulani Kumalo, their role is not so important, but it's quite very, very important to the white system. Taking President Zuma to court for one or another issue, it disturbs him from concentrating in the important issues which he has to concentrate in. So those people exist to, whether he wins the case or he doesn't win the case at the end of the day, it's immaterial. But the issue is those minor issues that keeps on draining the finance, his finance, and on the other side, draining his energy to continue to appear in courts for no apparent reason. Is going to be taken to court by lots of different people. I bet Julius Malema is going to be one of the people who is going to take President Zuma to court for one reason or another. That I don't know. Click the like button and subscribe if you are coming here for the first time. My name is Mngoni Mkonto. This is the Royal Opinion. Queen Victor Shongwe saying, King Victor Shongwe saying, this constitution is said to be the best in the world, even though it contains black people i- to misery. It consigns black people to misery. It's the best. It's said to be the best in the world because this is that the white people have drafted. Constitution that white people have ever drafted. The constitution uh, 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 in its nature. Colonial, but colonial network. Sorry about that. We're talking about President Zuma and the MK party is going to face five. Come to the royal opinion. Those who are not coming for the first time in the royal opinion knows that accurate predictions, because our predictions are based on in-depth analysis behavior of the enemy or the system or the colonial master. We analyze how they have previously behaved, and we can predict how they are going to behave. That's why it's important to know history, real history, not the fake history that white people are teaching us. Because if you don't know what happened in the past, you will not be able to predict what might happen in the future. If you know what happened in the past, you will be able to locate yourself in the present, and you will be able to predict what will happen in the future. We analyzing, we always get it perfectly correct because of that element. There's no, I'm not a sangoma or a shaman, but I can give accurate predictions based on the behavior of the colonial master in the past and what is likely to do in the next stage of the colonial project. Let's click the like button and subscribe. Most people uh, don't normally subscribe. I don't know why you don't. If you like watching, please just subscribe. If you like what you are hearing, so just subscribe because you will be able to hear more of what you are getting if you are subscribed. Don't hesitate. If you like what you are seeing as well, please subscribe. Click the like button and subscribe. My name is Mngoni Mkonto, and you are in the Royal Opinion. We are talking about the Mozambique unrest, and we are talking about the predictions of what is going to happen in 2024, in 2025, to the MK party and President Zuma and to South Africa. What can we expect at the end of 2025? I think we cannot um, avoid in 2025. I think we cannot avoid the use of guns. Police are going to use guns a lot. The army is going to be in the street. The people who are going to first protest is not the MK members. It's fake people who will be sent by the American intelligence to first cause chaos. Thank you very much, Derek Makoba. Derek Makoba. Thank you very much, King Derek. Thank you for your heart there. And thank you to I want to appreciate each and every. This is 2024. Probably maybe my last live video in 2024. I want to say thank you to everybody who has been following the Royal Opinion and who has been sharing the message that we've been giving to people, and who has been uh, part of our live sessions, who has been watching when we've not been, who has been giving even money to the Royal Opinion. We want to say salute and thank you to all for being so kind to the Royal Opinion. Thank you very much for being so kind to Mngoni Mkonto. Raymond Dube saying, that is wise. Thank you. Thank you very much to you as well, Raymond Dube. Please click the like button and subscribe if you feel this is very wise. Please click the like button and subscribe. So we know uh, the colonial masters have abducted. I want to use the correct words. They have previously, in 2021, abducted President Zuma or kidnapped him and taken him to prison without accusing him of any crime and without finding him guilty of any crime, declared him guilty of contempt, and took him to prison uh, without any prison uh, uh, prescription according to the sentence that are supposed to be given to people who have offense, who have contempt of court offenses. The sentence that was given to President Zuma is not what is prescribed for people who have contempt of court guilty verdict. They have designed their own. So what are they going to do? They are going to arrest President Zuma in 2025 for one reason or another. They are going to attempt to arrest President Zuma in order to because what they want is agitation. What they want is people to go to the street in order to diffuse this tension. They know now the ground or the tension, the ground is tense. South Africa is volatile. Anyone who can spark the fire is going to light up. Anyone to spark the fire, anyone who can just light the matches is going to spark the fire. So first, the colonial masters are going to send people into the street, or are going to first force black people to go to the street. President Zuma, he's got knowledge and intelligence. What happened in Mozambique? They are killing people in Mozambique. That is the strategy. After killing those people, they will install the government of Frelimo in power, and they will say, let us be peaceful now, let us talk peace, let us stop the violence. And at the end of the day, that's what is going to happen. After killing so many people, what will happen? You will have to relax. After so many people were killed, you will have to relax and then follow what the instruction, what they are saying, the instructions at the end of the day. So President Zuma does not want people to go to the street just for the Americans and the British to shoot us at us. When I say the Americans and the British, I mean the police and the army. They represent the Americans and the British. My eyes were open about our country the first day I met you, Mfokamkondo. I wish all South Africans can know the channel. When you talk about Delmas, kuvela ukuthi ngife. Angife. When we talk about Delmas, we talk about people who are suffering here in Pumalanga, the very, very rich in minerals, very rich place in Pumalanga. Delmas is getting looted by these colonizers, the people whom we did not invite in our shores, but who came to us through wars of dispossessions, are controlling. At the moment, they are controlling the courts, they are controlling the economy, they are controlling the government. Ramaphosa, everybody knows, is their puppet. Even the members of the ANC agrees that Ramaphosa is a puppet of white people. Nobody does not agree. Like even the hardcore members of the ANC, they do agree that Ramaphosa is a puppet of the white people, and they agree that the ANC is lost. The members of the ANC themselves uh, agrees that ANC is not what they want. But they are holding on there because they are hoping that something else is going to happen there, uh, which is not currently happening, hoping that Ramaphosa is going to disappear. But Ramaphosa and the DA will not disappear from the ANC. Ramaphosa and the ANC are there to stay. It might even happen. Let me even predict this one. It might even happen that the ANC will not have elections in 2027. It might happen that they ask Ramaphosa to continue, because if they go to elections, they will allow President Zuma to go and contest the elections. So to avoid the elections, the ANC may not even have the conference, may adopt the President Zuma style or the MK style of not hosting elections. The white people again will come and try to bring their COVID what story. It will appear again in 2025. Those issues are going to appear. The vaccines are going to be some of the things that are going to be top topic in 2025. The ANC will not be able to remove Ramaphosa, Queen Cynthia, because the ANC is captured. The ANC is the people. But the ANC leadership has been captured. So there's nobody to save the ANC inside the ANC. Everybody has sold out. The people who are leading the ANC at the moment were carefully selected by white people. Those people who are currently in the leadership of the ANC are those whom were handled by de Klerk, those who were handled by the apartheid authorities during apartheid, those who were spies, apartheid spies. Apartheid spies are the ones who are leading the ANC today. So the ANC will not be able to remove Ramaphosa, and the ANC will not be able to divorce the Democratic Alliance unless if they come up with a different strategy, observing what happens in KZN, because the MK party is planning something in KZN. Depending on what happens there, they will come up with a new strategy. But I think early in the year, we will start to see movements. We will start to see uh, a very busy year for the MK party. They have already issued their program for the year for 2025. The Secretary General Floyd Chivambu of the MK party has already issued a full program of 2025. But this full program of 2025 is going to be heavily disturbed by the issues that they will have to attend to in between, which are not part of their programs, which are part of the program of the enemy. The enemy has his own program for MK Party and President Zuma in the coming year. I want to thank everybody for attending today's session. Those who are currently in the session, click the like button and subscribe. The issues I wanted to vent out, or the issues I wanted to talk about uh, are already vented. If you are just joining, Thank you for joining, but you are late for this class. Please click the like button and subscribe so that you will be early for our next class. Hopefully, everybody is enjoying their holidays, though we don't celebrate Christmas. I personally don't celebrate Christmas, but there's quite a lot of people who are in the matrix of these issues. People are in the matrix, so the energy is quite important. When there's everybody is excited, then everybody get excited, and when everybody is sad, then everybody get sad, even those who were not aware that people are sad and for what reason, but they seem to adopt human beings are that kind of species. So I want to wish everybody a happy new year. Those who are celebrating their year, Christians have come. They're basically white people are trying to rebrand Jesus. They are trying to rebrand Jesus. They have gained so much in Africa and across the world by using the name of Jesus. They have gained a lot. They know once they say you are a born again, it means you are under subjugation. It means you are somebody who is not going to revolt against the system. If you are a born again child of God, you are somebody who is not going to revolt against the system. Naturally, Christians does not revolt against their oppressive systems because Christianity is part of their oppression. So they know when they make 80% of people in the country Christian, they know the colonial project is safe in that country. When they make uh, convert more people into becoming Muslim, they know their Muslim projects are safe in that country. Africa has been invaded. Our own culture, our own religion, our own way of life, our health systems has been destroyed. In its place, a colonial and evil system has been put to make black people suffer forever. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Please enjoy your holidays.